that I hope these individuals from Tuesday night have. It's not about funding. It's not about pleasing the mayor, because I'm sure she got a lot of things, but it was great to have that call. I want to challenge those individuals to bring action if they're going to be a mentor. Don't wait for the youth to come to y'all. Go out there on the corners. It's Friday night. We should do like, I'm feeling that citizen on patrol type stuff again, where you ride around and look for something to get into, other than, let's go find it and see what's going on. So it was great. It was a good opportunity. I also want to give a shout out, Reverend Willie Ray. and like you say, you say they lie and curse, they lie in church. I felt like, Reverend Willie Ray, and what I felt from him is he's an individual that has been doing things in the community for so many years. Long time, citizen. They seniority. Oh, yeah. So and he when he did his outburst, he was like, "What the hell? WHF? Why is we here doing this?" And I'm trying to,
It's frustration.
So it was frustration because I think one thing in our communities, and this is something that we got to get across to our community leaders, we outreach and look for other places to find our solutions when we got so many great people right here in our city. So many great leaders in Baltimore who are ready to demonstrate what it's like to end homelessness. I say that to my real care providers. They demonstrate working with the youth. We got great youth people. We got,
Yeah, there are programs here in this city.
Yeah,
and all they need is a little nudge.
All they need
just a little help.
I think they need a hands up and not a hands out. And give them that nudge and be to move forward. Dr. Humphrey with the trauma, I'm really kind of like, and we have our battles. And the thing about our battles is I feel good about them afterwards, because it's like, if we're going to say what we're going to do and what we're going to be about, we got to start demonstrating. Like, we just got to go for it, implement what we need to implement. Infrastructure.
We're not waiting for anybody.
We ain't waiting. So,
good example, the lady who said they had jobs in Park Heights.
Yeah.
Well, I went up there.
Yeah, see the resources.
But the thing over there is they came from Chicago.
Yep. She came from somewhere else.
And,
and been funded. She came from somewhere else.
I met the director and I wanted to give her my card, and she went in the back and shut the door.
Wow. And it was about resources, because some people had stood up, because Kim wasn't there. Some people stood up and was saying some programs, and she was someone that came from somewhere else. But but we want to stay consistent. And one thing that I feel like, even with myself and Dr. Humphrey and Larry, really putting some things in action when it comes to being that type of source in the community through our radio station. It's a privilege to have the opportunity to put information out there. And the one thing I told Larry, I said, we're going after all your cab drivers. Because Larry basically is the voice. You are the advocate.
They won't listen.
You are the advocate.
They don't want to listen. They only listen when something go wrong, when the meter decrease go down, or when they get a ticket and got to go to court. Larry, can you help me?
Larry,
that's the only time they call me.
Riding around with Larry for the past 2 days, you basically, it's like when I'm around Kim. You know everybody in their lane. She is the politic lane. She's informative. She got information. She does her research. Like, the cab people love, like, they be blowing, like, I'm like, you're a real celebrity. Like, people really like you. Like,
it wasn't easy to get that title.
It wasn't easy to get that title.
You earned it.
I work hard for it, but I get no respect.
You're not riding in Dangerville.
Well, we're going to start working on that, because one of the things about being co-host and host of the radio is having that opportunity to have an outlet. And I got another guest here today that I'm excited to introduce, because, the Real Care Providers Network, a part of our mission is reaching out to other entrepreneurs, great individuals that's doing great things in the community, that got stuff going on. Like, we busy. We got things going on that people can be a part of, that can change their life, their direction, so I'm excited to have Sister Cherie here, and I want her to be able to put her information out there and the things that she do, because, collaborating and partnering with individuals and entrepreneurs just to get the source out there that we would like to build when it comes to building communities and entrepreneurs to work with our homeless individuals. Everything that God has given us, from our businesses to our talents of speaking, some of the things you do, being a motivated speaker, doing a book, Like, these are gifts and talents that we, as the real care providers, look to connect with, so that at the end of the day, we can have that opportunity to say that our initiative to end homelessness is supported by businesses and individuals that want business and a passion too. Because our homeless individuals, being a part of a vulnerable community, need us. They need what we do, what God has gifted us to do. We have to be willing to go back and give to these individuals. So I'm excited to have you on. And I'm happy, and I want individuals, I was listening to a skit on Facebook. We can look up on Facebook if you could get in. She's one of the ones with the friends you got calling asking, can you let me in? Like, can you let that?
Permission.
You gotta get permission. Some people Facebook page you gotta get permission to get on. So, but I was excited because as soon as I got on, I pushed the play button and it was just talking about like our mind and how we gotta focus and I thought about me, because I said in the morning I'm out Jill Park. I'm trying to think and separate myself from everything. But listening to your little skit, it took my mind to that where we have to take time to ourselves, whether it's spiritually or if you want to meditate or you want to kuma or say an oath, whatever you want to do, you need to spend this type of time doing that. And that's what I got from viewing and listening, that we got to take this time apart to do this to help us to function for other people.
How's the atmosphere out there in the morning, Julia?
Quiet. It is. You ain't got nothing to battle with. Now, if you could sing, I got a tune out there. I can sing from one end of the park to the other. People be like, I knew Miss Flowers was coming around. We heard you singing. So that's the atmosphere. So it was out there.
Did you hear the latest? The latest is that the black bear population in
Oh,
Arizona is growing.
man.
So don't be surprised tomorrow morning when you walk out there and you see this great big black bear.
Why you had to start giving me something to think about?
I just thought I'd share. I mean, don't you want information that you can use?
Black bear. Now we're gonna be dealing with the black bears that's coming up in. So all right, I'm gonna look out for that. But I feel like I made it through the deers this winter.
That's right.
And we got understanding. Me and them deers.
Commuting with the animals.
The deers tell us you drive slow when you come through here because it's dark, and don't be putting too much light in our face because we can get scared. So if me and the deers can make it through the winter, tell that bear to come on. I'll kick it up a notch and throw a jogging on. I ain't scared of no bear. We ain't gonna be scared of no bear. 410-481-1010 family. We also have another guest I'm gonna let introduce you. On Fridays we like to bring our homeless community in, ex-homeless community in, because one thing with working with the homeless individuals is about empowering them to go back and to have the resources to work with people, to network, to know what it is. I keep saying I never experienced homelessness, but God gave me a responsibility for the homeless. So it's great if you guys can be able to come out and help us as business owners to know what can we do better, because everyone in the homeless population can't communicate well for themselves. They don't get that opportunity to advocate well. So, hard times can hit any of us. But, I have an opportunity to meet some of the greatest, talented, some of the most intelligent homeless individuals that just experience hard times. So I thank God for that experience, because it gave me a whole different view.
That man was preaching to us.
Yes,
today.
preached to us, had us about to pray up on the corner. So, I'm going to let my other guest introduce himself and be able to share a little bit some things we want to be working on about advocating and being that type of voice for the homeless community, being a part of it, but getting some good things happening. When you really get in there and get people working with you, having that opportunity to get permanent housing. So tell us how that's going and introduce yourself to the listeners. 410-481-1010 family. You can call in at any time.
All right, how y'all doing out there? My name is Saint.
Call him Saint, like Saint Nick.
Saint. I try to be.
You got a temptation voice. You better watch yourself.
Don't you hear that? How you doing?
How you doing?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that Miss Flowers, she is a resource for the homeless people that's in need, and I want to say that it's greatly appreciated, Miss Flowers. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. You guys, look, as much as y'all think I help you guys, y'all help me too. It's like helping me right back.
Yep.
So basically, we just want to get a feel, and one of the things we like to spend a few minutes, because these airways are your airways. These are for the homeless to come in to communicate to our leaders, like, what is it more that we can be doing as entrepreneurs to make sure that we can be a hands up and not a hands out to you guys, because you're capable, y'all can work, some of you just need that extra support to get
Right.
you to that next step.
Right. Well, Ms. Flowers, you've been a great support to us, and I can honestly say that every time I pick up the phone, you answer. I can count on one hand how many times I've called, but every time I called, you picked up the phone, and I appreciate that. You know.
How can we change some of the people's mindsets of how they think of and view homeless people?
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's deep. I think one of the ways that we can change the minds of the people is get them to interact more with the people and stop acting. They're prejudiced towards us. They look at us as peasants, and
Very judgmental.
very, very judgmental. And because of that, there is a gap bridge.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
it.
I never had a idea of how it really worked until I heard some of the testimonies of people that's been in shelters and been out on the streets with Sister Flowers, and it's a experience that you never forget if you have a passion to help people.
Mhm.
So how'd you get to know Sister Flowers?
Well, actually, to be honest, I was sleeping underneath a bridge. I call it Camp 83. That's what we call it down there. I was on the Camp 83, and I have a couple friends down there, and he introduced me to Miss Flowers. And ever since he introduced me to Miss Flowers, like I said before, every time I call, she's there. Whenever I'm in need, she's there. So that's how I got to know Miss Flowers.
I think one of the great answers, and I'm glad Dr. Humphrey asked that, and you answered it to where how we can acknowledge, because I know myself and other individuals have a tendency of putting on that blind eye when it comes to things that's happening with our homeless individuals, like even down to the services and things that should be there for you guys, and it's like that wall or that gap, like you said. And Kim and I talk about that a lot, the gap of communications between agencies, the gap of individuals really implementing services to you guys that should be there and able to move forward. And one of the things that, I've acknowledged a lot of is, the money and the resources that come for the homeless population, is a gap there too. And I say the gap.
I didn't want to touch on that.
I say the gap. Yeah,
That's
you can touch on that.
political right there.
Yeah, it's a gap there too, because the gap is there when you guys are not able to even benefit from the funding that's available to you guys. And then you do have the other side of the administrative costs when you got, $48.3 million coming in from agencies.
Who's intercepting? Why are they not?
You're mismanaging $3.7 million. So these type of numbers are great numbers that let you know it's a gap.
It's a gap.
Because these gaps can end homelessness. They can fix one of the biggest problems. But you have this, and somebody was saying it from another agency, you have this administrative cost. At the top, everything got to get chipped off. Everybody got to